Yeah, I think we're going live.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, we got the crew today. It's been 8 months since we did this last. I'll put everybody's information down below. Most of you watched. We got the full crew today. We got Mr. Rocky Road. We got Car Guy Online. We got Mr. JB Reviews. We got Jason Samco. It's been a long time, honestly. We should have probably got together a lot sooner, but we've all been so busy with life and everything. We're constantly talking, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and it just misses. Let's hit the ground running. I just got to start right here, guys. What are your thoughts on this? Why so much hate with GM?
You really want to start with that?
Let's go heavy, man, right off the bat.
Who wants
JB's
to go
the only guy with the GM. We got to let him go first.
I got a GM too.
Huh?
Jason,
you were the only guy with a GM. I got one.
I'm a fanboy.
That's right.
What am I going to say? I'm going to just talk GM up and make everyone angry. So
let me talk him down first, and then we'll go to JB.
There we go. Go ahead, Jeremy.
So I'll tell you why everybody hates GM right now. The L87 is a huge part of it, but I think it started with the transmission issues they had. So I think just having the valve body problems, the lack of supply, people being stranded at dealerships for 3 months in rentals, and then the L87 issue hit right after that. And it was like, when people just retrospectively look back at that and they say from 2021 to 2026, we're having these same problems, these same issues. I think they're so frustrated that it's finally just boiled over. They've had time to fix it, and it feels like they've ignored it. I think that's why. I don't know. What do you think, JB?
Just my opinion too. I think General Motors is such a big company, and they sell so many trucks that you're gonna be a bigger target too. I do think that's part of it as well.
Yeah.
Man, that's so hard. You hit this really hard, dude. So I think that online hate. See, I'm a fanboy, so I'm sorry, guys. I think that is because of us YouTubers. We've made it worse than it really is. Can I say that?
Yeah, I think it's true for sure.
I know that the trucks are having issues, but 30 years ago, you didn't have Jeremy's of the world and Barry's and JB Reviews and Rocky Roads and, of course, Jason Samco's. You just had people who just heard about problems. Now, we go to dealerships, we hear about these complaints, and we talk about it, and it gets hyped up. And so now it seems a lot bigger than it really is. Now, I'm not going to say that that GM is perfect, but it is hyped up for the most part, because I've had cross-country trips in my GMC, and I've towed 30,000 miles with it. I've had no issues in my truck. It has 125 more horsepower, and I beat on my truck. So is it a maintenance thing? Is it a new age of diesel owners who don't understand these engines? Is it the manufacturers not giving us the best oil possible? 0W20 seems to be an issue. So there's a lot of variables, but I think it could be both sides. So I'm sorry. I think that GM they need to do a better job of, obviously, with their products, but Ram has their issues with the cam lifter failures on the Hemis, on the Cummins. Ford seems to be the one that's not in the news as much. I don't hear any CP4 issues anymore.
Yeah. But Ford also set the record for recalls last year. And it's wild to me, for the amount of recalls Ford had, GM still got more hate, but yet GM had a quarter of the amount of recalls last year. But the ones they had was a heavy hitter.
Yeah. And a lot of trans for Ford. The Super Duty transmissions, they struggle a little bit. I see a lot of comments on my channel about people that I know, people in my channel that have had to have the transmissions replaced in their Super Duties.
Yeah.
Everything out there's got issues.
And I'll comment on that too, because every one I had a shift flare, and I had multiple Super Duties, and the shift flare really aggravated me.
Mm-hmm.
Rocky, how about you with your GM truck?
All right, so GM, what we'll say is I had a Denali Ultimate. It was a nice truck, but went through the full fuel control module, went through the valve body issues, just had those problems. And again, I kind of agree with Jeremy on that. If they would have addressed it and had stuff in stock instead of telling customers, hey, we're going to park your truck here for 6 months while you wait on parts. But I will say this, there's a few things about GM that some of us have said that we didn't like. And they have stepped up for 27 and fixed a lot of those things where it's actually almost pulling me to the GM to the GM trucks just because of all the upgrades they've done by listening to customers for the new 27. So I'm kind of excited about that. And I'm also excited about the new Duramax because I think GM's one of the first ones stepping out and doing that. So give them a little positive and a little negative at the same time, but I think they're headed the right direction.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. On the topic of GM and 27 changes, I am hopeful. You know, it's crazy. I got almost 600 comments on this video I posted a few days ago of seeing the new 27 Silverado. And it's the first new GM truck I've seen in a long time where I'm like, dude, I want to buy this thing. I think it looks sweet. I like the changes done to it. And I actually think the new engine will be a home run. And I believe it because I don't think they got a choice. I think it has to be done correctly. And I think it will. And even though, and this is my experience, even though the L87 motor has the recall, that's probably the best efficiency and best towing V8 half-ton engine I've ever towed with. I don't know if you guys have ever towed with it, but that motor's awesome. It is a really good performing motor.
You know, on the with the GM stuff, I got that Colorado right now, that ZR2 2024 Tina's. It's an amazing truck. We love it. Everybody told me it was a mistake to buy it. You know, same thing you said. So much hate for the GM stuff. I'm such an idiot. I'm such a fool. But it's only 36,000 miles, but it's 36,000 miles, 2 years, and absolutely flawless on every kind of way. And I'll tell you what, that truck, everything about it, from its proportions to its power to its delivery to everything about that truck is phenomenal. Enough to a point where if GM got rid of the G80, I know people like it, but if they got rid of the G80 and put an electronic locker and a Trail Boss, Silverado Trail Boss, and I could get that truck for prices of a 2026 Trail Boss, I'd go buy it right now today. If they come out in 27 and the Trail Boss Silverado has got an E-coated frame, a electronic rear locker, and I can get that thing for, you know, under $50,000, I'd buy one in a heartbeat with that new style. I think it looks amazing.
I agree.
And I want to throw this out real quick, Barry, too. I forgot since you mentioned it's GM. We bought that GM Hummer EV, y'all. Done 0 to that thing. Drive it every day. And it's been flawless. I mean, it's a good vehicle. The hands-free driving, everything on it has just been flawless. We've not touched it at all. So give GM credit on that.
For sure. On the topic of the E-coated frame, I thought this was a really good comment, Jay, you brought up. I don't know if you guys in your climate, maybe this is a Western issue, and Rocky, you might not see it as much, but the wax-coated frames are a really polarizing topic. I can say on the roads we travel, they don't hold up well. There's got to be some strategy behind it. I just don't understand of why manufacturers go to it. Maybe it's just cost, but by me, the wax coated frames, when they start seeing salty climates and dirt roads, it doesn't hold up good. And when you try to power wash it, it turns into a disaster even worse. So I've been excited to see, supposedly for 27, it's going to get an E-coated frame. I'm going to show you guys over on GM Authority. They actually had a comment here saying it's an E-coated frame. The Silverado I saw last week at Woodward Avenue Cruise actually had a wax-coated frame. Now, with that being said, and I've mentioned in this comment 50 times on that video, is that truck could have been an early prototype built off the old manufacturing line, and it might have just been an early development vehicle. So let's give GM a chance, to answer. And I've said all along, I think the best scenario would almost be an E-coated followed up with wax. That'd be awesome. I don't see them doing that, but I sure hope that they actually do the E-coating though. That'll be a big deal for me. Let's see. What's another one here? Another topic here. I feel like now is a good time to talk about the, what do we got? Truck changes. There is a lot going on for 2027. A lot. It's crazy to me. General Motors has got a new generation MCA refresh, whatever you want to call it. Some people say it's the old truck. Dude, it's new motors, it's updated transmissions, it's new interior, it's new exterior, it might be a new frame. That's a lot of changes. That's just GM. But man, even Ford not changing generation of their trucks, they're bringing a lot of changes for 27. 2.7 liter EcoBoost is gone, replaced by 3 liter. And I don't know if you guys saw the video I just posted this morning. Did you see what changed potentially to the 2027 Super Duty with the 7.3? don't know if you guys saw this or not. So I got to show you guys this so you can call me crazy or not, but this is straight from Ford's website here. The 7.3 for 2026. Can you guys see the screen?
Mhm.
Okay, so, for 2027, they had 4 engines, 7.3, 6.8, 6.7 standard power stroke, and 6.7 high output. All right, we know that. We know that they got rid of the 6.8, and we know they got rid of the standard output for 2027. Here's been the horsepower for the last 3 years. 430 horsepower, 5,500 RPMs, 485 pound-feet of torque at 4,000 RPMs. Remember these numbers? Remember this fuel octane rating? And look at the RPMs. Here's 2027. 2027 is now 420 horsepower at 350 RPMs higher. So it is down. It's down 10 horsepower, but 150 RPMs lower. But it's down 40 pound-foot of torque for 2027. Now, I've had some people say, oh, it's because it's different specifications for fuel economy and they're requiring 93 octane. And I've had someone else tell me it's because it's 445 cubic inches. There's an error on the website. It's very possible that's accurate. But what I find interesting is not only did the horsepower and torque change, but the RPMs at each of these changed, and they both show 87 octane. So a 10% hit in torque in one model year and 10 horsepower. 10 horsepower I don't think is a big deal, but 40 pound-foot of torque difference, I don't like that.
Did the compression change?
Nope. They're both 10.5 to 1, 10.5 to 1. So
See, what's crazy is Ram did something similar back in 2025 with the Hemi, with the 6.4 with the HDs.
they lost 10 horsepower.
Yeah. So
Yep.
reality is, and theirs has EGR in the 7. Let's say added the DPF for the gas engine.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yep.
That's what I'm worried about right there. Is there a chance Ford added a gasoline particulate filter, which doesn't make sense in a class 2 and above series trucks and it's a port fuel injected engine. But that's not a number I'm excited to see. I wish it was going the other direction.
It almost makes me wonder if that's a cabin chassis number and they just screwed up on the website.
I'm thinking, the RPMs are different, and I've confirmed it. Here's what's odd about it though, JB. It's not just in this section of Ford's website. If you also go to the build configurator, it's the same. So I confirmed both sides. So I don't really know.
See, now you got me wondering because, let me see. I think that the cabin chassis 7.3 is like 3 something though. For the
Yeah, it's like 380 or something horse. Yeah, it's a big hit. They detune it hard.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
Yep.
Wow, that is bad news, man.
It
I'd
is.
be looking for a 7.3 right now if that's the case.
100%. 100%. And this was why, I hope this is an error. But if this is not an error and you're on the fence of getting a 7.3, this would be a big driver for me to get a 26 over a 27 Super Duty with 7.3.
It's a lot of torque.
Yes, that is. They literally just screwed themselves against GM because theirs has 464, I believe.
Oh,
So,
the
yeah,
L8T? Yeah.
Yeah. So I have in my notes 335 horsepower at 3750 for the cabin chassis, 468 torque at 3750.
Yep.
So wow, that's even less than that. That has to be for the cabin chassis. I hope so.
I hope so too.
Jeez.
I also find it odd though too that the RPMs changed. It used to be torque at 4,000.
Yeah.
They've raised it 250 RPM. So I don't know. Yeah.
Raise the RPM and drop the torque output.
Right. So that tells me, Jay, my mind tells me at 4,000 RPMs, if this is accurate, this number would actually be lower. It'd even be lower. Might even
And
be
think
like,
about that. As crazy as it is, think about it. Like I said, we were talking GM. Right there, right behind me out that window is Tina's Colorado that's got a 2.74 cylinder in it. It's got 430 pound-feet of torque.
Yeah, and probably lower RPM too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yep. So, yeah, so that's something that I'm going to keep an eye on. I've been researching this all day. No one else is reporting this and looking at it, but it caught me off guard. I hope it's an error. This is a great engine. I've always liked the 7.3, but that's a big hit, man. 10% is a lot.
It is.
while we're talking about 2027 changes, so we know the Ford changes 2.7 to 3.0. Personally, I'm super excited about that. I think that's a huge upgrade. I love the 3-liter. It's the most fun EcoBoost. But here's another thing. Ram has leaked their fuel economy on the new 2027 5.7 Hemi per the EPA without the e-torque. And I purposely wanted to show this because why this is interesting is look at the fuel economy. If you go from the 26 model should be very similar to the 27. The 27, you're going to see early builds. I think you were saying, Jason, the early 27s will have still the e-torque. Is that right?
Till they burn them out, till they get rid of the supply they want gone, then they're going to shift over is what I heard happening. Anything, you know how Ram is, it could change, but that's what I heard is they were going to put some early builds out with them and then they were going to cut it out completely.
So here's something interesting.
The mid-year will stop the auto start stops also. They said that, you know, when they run out of the e-torque, supposedly that'll stop also.
So here's what's interesting to me. When I look at this, you know, I'm personally not a fan of the e-torque system because it's never helped me for fuel economy in our drive loop because I'm a highway driver and this proves it. So the e-torque truck gets 1 mile per gallon better mix and 1 mile per gallon better city, but the non-e-torque truck actually gets 2 miles per gallon better on the highway, which is what I've noticed. And I then went back and compared it to the 21 Ram with the 5.7, and I did the e-torque versus the non-e-torque. The non-e-torque back then actually got a mile per gallon mix better than the current. And the odd part about this is the old e-torque per then, maybe it was different EPA requirements, it actually got better fuel economy than the new one. The only thing I could think is the build configuration of how they did the 27 truck maybe weighed more than the 21 trucks back then. Maybe it's got an extra 500 pounds of technology in it to hurt the fuel economy. But I thought the interesting part was the hybrid back then showed 1 mile per gallon better on the city than the non-e-torque, whereas now it's the opposite. So this is an interesting phenomenon when you get rid of the hybrid on these big trucks. What happens to fuel efficiency?
That is very interesting.
What do you guys think of if Ram ditches the warranty? Do you think they're going to drop in sales? Because right now they're kind of kicking butt.
I have a hard time believing it won't have an impact on sales. I mean, this warranty is a big deal. I really think it's a huge deal.
I can tell you, being my 27, not having that 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, it's a concern. Like, I'm going to have to buy an extended warranty.
Yep.
And they're not cheap. You know, I put extended warranty on everything I buy. And to put it into reference, I bought it on my Gladiator, on a Jeep Gladiator, 2023 Gladiator. I bought it directly from Mopar. Cost me $1,200 for a 5-year, 100,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. $1,200 from Mopar. On Tina's Colorado a year later for the same exact 5-year, 100,000-mile warranty from Chevy, it was $2,300 for that one, for the same thing on the Colorado. When I went to go put it on my Ram Power Wagon, they wanted $3,600 from Ram to do a 5-year, 85,000-mile. I actually said no, and I went to Granger, and I bought it through Granger for $1,400 for the same exact warranty, factory back, but I wasn't going to pay that much. But you start thinking about those numbers, and let's say somebody's going to go buy a 2027 Ram truck, and they want to put even a 5-year, 100,000-mile, forget about a 10. But if they want to do an 8-year, I think it's the most they go. If they do an 8-year, 100,000-mile warranty in 2027, it very well might cost them $4,500, $4,500 to put that on there. Where here you're getting that 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain for free. That's a big difference.
100%. 100%.
Quick question, real quickly. Do you guys buy extended warranties for the electrical or the powertrain? Or both?
I try to do both if I can, but man, some of these extended service plans are getting real tricky on their wording. And I tell anybody, before you drop the money on an extended service plan, read the fine print. Because when we had our Lincoln, I specifically made sure that the LED lights were covered. Because if you don't select that option, it saves you a few $100s. But if one of those LED lights went out, it was like $3,000 a side. So, and I'm finding Ford and Lincoln, most recent experience, they are trying to nickel and dime stuff to get out of paying warranty stuff now. So you got to do your homework on this stuff. I'm afraid to own a new vehicle out of warranty, unless you better put 10 grand aside. If a Uconnect system fails, if an electric power steering goes out, I mean, there's a lot of expensive stuff that can fail on these things now.
Yeah, you want more than just a powertrain. The powertrain warranty is nice, but again, where I think how I would do it again, and I may on this one, it depends. Recently, I'm getting rid of vehicles a lot quicker than I used to, so I'm not sure if it's worth me hanging on to. But like Granger's sending me, I don't remember what the percentage is, but they're sending me almost all my money back for that warranty that I didn't use, which is nice on the Power Wagon. But like going with a Granger warranty or something like that, they're factory back. They show up in my Ram app, and it is a bumper to bumper warranty, just like your extended warranty is, which is really a nice feature. I've never used it, so I don't know if it's good or bad or indifferent. I have no idea. But that powertrain warranty from Ram is really nice that we get that. But like Barry said, I don't know if when it gets closer to that time and I decide what I'm going to do with this truck, I may still end up putting some sort of a warranty on that from Granger or something because of the fear of all this other crap that's on these cars today,
Jay, you didn't have any issues with that truck, did you, while you owned it? Did you ever have any
I've not had an
work?
issue, honestly, other than my Tacoma, which was a great truck, but that was the only truck I had issues with, where I had to bring it to the shop a bunch of times. Until you go back to my last truck with issues was a 2009 F-150 caught on fire, burned to the ground, and my 2010 F-150 had the transmission issues 2 times. Other than that, in my entire life, knock on wood, I've never had to ever put a penny in a vehicle or use a warranty service under any circumstances. The Tacoma was the one it did.
And you're always putting 40 to 100,000 miles on these things too. So you're seeing some
I
miles.
use 40,000 miles a year, and I'm usually holding on to them for about 2 years,
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to know.
Yep. But I sleep better at night knowing I got the warranties. I would hate to have 65,000 miles on it and blow a transmission out of these things today, or have a head go.
So bring that up, Jason. You bring up a great point and a good segue into the resale impacts of these 2027. Up until today, and this 7.3 liter potential change of power, I was like, man, some of these 2027s are going to kill 2026s in resale. I know you had a really good thought on the Hemi the other day with the e-torque. And I know you and Rocky just recently traded in some Rams. How was the resale on your guys' Rams when you traded in them in?
Go ahead, Rocky.
So when the 27 TRXs come out, I didn't think it was going to hurt the RHOs as much as it did. And MMR just dropped significantly, like 2 weeks after the TRXs started hitting the ground. I'm talking about 6,000 or 7,000 more than I expected it to be. So for me, for a 26 that only had 20,000 miles on it, I was kind of shocked at the value drop on it. But still, when you compare it to other manufacturers that you're paying almost sticker for things, when you go buy one of these, RHOs and you're getting 8,000 to 12,000 off. If you do the math from the 12 you got off, it's not horrible for putting 20,000 miles on a truck. So that's just kind of my opinion on it.
Yeah.
See, I got that Power Wagon. That thing, the resale value on that was horrible. I straight up got crushed. Like when I ran it through Carvana and through CarMax just to see what I'm like, let's take a look at it. And when I saw the numbers, which were insane, they were $32,000. They were the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life on a vehicle that I paid 57 grand for a year earlier and 35,000 miles ago that had an MSRP of $67,000. They're $66,000, and they were offered 32. I wouldn't have done it. I was like, nope, forget it. And then I checked with 2 of my local, not right here in my area, but 2 Georgia dealers that I called, and they were not much different either. And I was like, no way, I'll sell it myself first. I'm never going to give it up for that. Fortunately, Mark Dodge did when I called them. They were way, way higher, and I just kind of, all right, now we're on the right page, But if it wasn't for them doing that, I'd have never traded it. I would have paid it off. I'd have pulled money out, paid it off, and then I would have, waited for the title, and I would have sold it myself outright. The resale value on mine anyway was brutal, ridiculous.
Yeah, and Jason and I actually got a segue where we talk about the resale and how you order trucks. I think that's going live here in a few days. That's a really important topic. We could talk an hour on about making sure you order the right truck at the right trim with the right engine, and there's all kinds of science around it. That's a very unique truck, the Tradesman Power Wagon, and I think that's, if you probably, Jay, I bet if it wasn't a Power Wagon, I bet it would have been the exact same trade value.
You're right, and you can check it. You know how you check it is
Yep.
you basically go grab the VIN off of a used truck, a used truck, and then run that through Carvana. You'll see the same exact thing,
Yep.
But yeah, they don't care what the package is. They don't care this $8,000 package. It makes it a completely different. And that's what one of the Georgia dealers here. That's what he said too. He's like, I can't market this. This is not what people want. Like, it's a Power Wagon. He's like, no, people don't buy a Power Wagon for that. They buy a Power Wagon for the sticker on the side so that they feel really cool and they think they got all that and they got the nice leather interior. You don't have the nice leather interior. You don't have the sticker on the side. You have a work truck that has no payload and no towing capacity that's set up for off-road. I can't sell that,
Right.
Basically what he told me,
Yep. So, Jason, you brought up a good point I didn't think about the other day. With these 2027 changes happening, let's just say specific on the Ram. So we know they're getting rid of the e-torque. We still don't know what's going to happen with warranties for Ram in 2027. I'm of the belief if Ram sees their sales kind of peter off as soon as these 2027 start kicking on, I think that the 100,000 mile warranty will come back. That's just a gut feel. I think they're going to keep that on the sideline. Just a thought. If it doesn't, or even if it does, I guess it's irrelevant. What do you think happens to these 26 Hemis for resale if the 27 doesn't have the e-torque?
It's going to be brutal for them. For these, there'll be a couple 100,000 people out there that are going to have 2026 and early 2027 Hemis with e-torque on them, which is a great engine and a great setup. But the problem is 5 years from now, when somebody's going to buy a used 5-year-old Hemi, they're not going to want it with that e-torque. And if they're going to be scrolling through Auto Trader or going on dealer lots, first thing they're asked is, does it have the e-torque on it? And if it does, nobody's going to touch it. But on the flip side of that, there's that balance again. 2026 is out right now with a 100,000 mile warranty and incredibly, insanely low deals and prices right now that you can buy it for. Will that continue in 27 when there's no e-torque? That trade-off. Again, like Rocky said, value versus a high MSRP and getting a high resale versus getting a lower, getting a good deal and getting a better, getting a worse resale. It's the same concept right now. I think the scales are pretty balanced right now between the two, but that's going to be the issue. And if you own a 26 or 27 with an e-torque, you better know that you're gonna get probably robbed when it comes time in a few years to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a good question in there. Because this is for JB. If GM is so proud of their products, why don't they back their products with a longer warranty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
think should.
goes for Toyota too, like Toyota, all of them for the price of these trucks. I honestly think all of them, like I
agree.
think anything over like 60 grand, like why are you not warranting this longer than 3 or 36 and a 60,000 mile powertrain?
I think the warranty should align with what the average payment length of term is for people anymore, because I can't think of a more depressing scenario than getting a 5-6 year loan on a vehicle and your vehicle's out of warranty and you're still making payments on it. It's just, I think they just need to bake this into the price of every one of these trucks. And if they think their average term is 6 months, 6 years, give them a 6-year warranty. That's my opinion.
I want to say this about the used market too, because I think all of them, like Jason said, I think all of them are kind of carrying the same. If what you actually pay to what you actually get, if we're not taking and looking at MSRPs and reducing it, right? But another thing I think that's causing some of that is the fuel prices being high for this past year, 2 year period, and the supply on used vehicles right now. The lots here in town, I mean, there is trucks just stacked, and I think it's just because there's such a huge inventory of these used vehicles. And I think that's what's dropping the MMR at the auction on a bunch of these right now, currently in the market that we're in.
Yeah.
I think you guys would probably agree with what I'm about to say, but a lot of why we do this is trying to help people make good choices and stretch a dollar and think about all these different scenarios. If we would have jumped on the bandwagon with the 35% off MSRP thing for the last 2-3 years, we'd have led a lot of people the wrong direction. With that being said, I do actually think we're in a time period right now where this might be some of the best pricing or coming into the best pricing we're going to see for a while, used and new. Used is already tanking from what I can see. And that's only going to drive new prices down, but that's only going to last for a certain amount of time because the manufacturers can't sell at a massive discounted rate before they're financially not stable. And I think right now, most of us would agree that Ram is providing some of the best value, the best bang for the buck for their truck right now. But if you look at their shareholding price, they've lost 50% of their value as a company in the last 12 months. Let's think about that, people. You might be getting a great truck, and I like the Ram. I love mine, and I've got 2 Stellantis vehicles in my garage I paid for. But if the company is not doing all that good, it's something you got to think about. And it's you look at Ford. Ford has not dropped 50% in their shareholder value, and neither is GM, neither is Toyota. And they're going to have to improve their profitability. And that's why I think we haven't seen the 100,000-mile warranty offering yet for the 27s. And I think you're going to see Ram push more in the V8 segment for their trucks because it's a more profitable engine than the Hurricane as well.
Yeah.
See, those things are stuff that, I fight that battle as far as, you want these companies to succeed. You want them to do well. You want them all this kind of stuff. But when I put all that corporate stuff on the scales, none of it means as much to me as the fact that, I still believe wholeheartedly that these prices are ridiculous. The quality is way down from where it should be. Reliability is not there. The customer is not cared about even a little bit when you have every manufacturer holding us on back orders for parts, way long delays. We're getting left shafted by not having things fixed in time. And then we get, like Ford, we're getting a lot of, ridiculous fixes that are not fixing things correctly. We get all this, like you were saying, Barry, warranties that are not being honored. We're getting run through the ringer by these manufacturers and by the dealers that want $10,000 on profit on your trade-in today, or $8,000 even. We are getting as customers raked over the coals on every single aspect of everything. So I have very, very little concern or care or feeling for how their shareholders are doing. I understand it's important to the grand scheme of things, because if their shareholders don't make money, they're not here. But me as an individual customer, I don't care what their problems are. Maybe the CEO could make a couple $100,000 less for each one. Maybe they can cut this. I don't care how you do it. Maybe do a little less racetrack day. I don't care what you got to do, but figure it out. Not my problem. Just the problems that I want worried about, they don't care about either. So,
yeah,
true. Well, hey, let's
real quickly. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I know this is a little off topic, but like Stellantis as a whole, I think it's like Idiotville, because these guys don't get it. They just released, was it the Super B?
Rumble.
Right?
Yep.
Yo, I'm sorry.
Rumble.
Not the trucks. I'm talking about the Dodge Charger.
Oh,
Sorry
okay.
about
Oh
that.
yeah, Super B.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, it has like 600 horsepower.
Yep.
Did you guys see the reactions to that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, like it's bad. And
Yeah.
it's the same thing with the Hurricane and the Ram trucks. They decided to kill off the V8. So it's not a shock that they're dropping in price and their value, because people aren't taking them serious, because they keep making stupid decisions. And I would have never dropped a Dodge Charger with a 600 horsepower inline six. I'm sorry. It's the stupidest thing they ever did. And again, they didn't learn from the Ram mistake, and they continue to make the same mistake. So it's just going to continue to spiral.
So I'm just going to throw this out there. Is Dodge even going to survive?
I'm not answering that
I
question.
mean, let's think about this. The EV Charger, no one wanted it. Now you've got a Hurricane Charger, and dude, the interior is awesome. The motor has got great power. I'm not a fan of the styling personally. It's not a car for me, but some people might like it. With that being said, if you're Stellantis and you've got this umbrella of brands, that'd be an easy one to kick to the curb, because you just gave a Rumblebee, which is a muscle truck that could replace the buyers for the Charger, and it's probably a more profitable vehicle. If you think about it, if they could replace the buyer that bought the Charger Challenger with a V8 pickup truck, they're probably money ahead.
Yeah. But what did they replace the Challenger and Charger with back in 2023? Do you remember what it was?
the Hornet.
The Dodge Hornet.
Oh gosh, you mean the Hornet?
Idiotville. Hornet, yeah.
It's a silent T.
That's what they replaced the Challenger and Charger with.
Yep.
This is why Stellantis is Idiotville again. I used to say that these guys did cocaine, like, because they would bring out great products And then when they on their high, they're having their parties. They got their cocaine, and they go out and they go missing for a few months, and then they sober up and say, "Oh man, we gotta get back to work now." So
You know what, though?
This foolishness that they do.
I do think they are. This comment from Ken is dialed in. Ram is still digging out from a Tavares experiment. He's not wrong. They're bringing the Hemi back. They're getting people excited. They're focusing on price. I mean, I think they're headed towards the right track on a lot of this stuff. I mean, look what they did with the Grand Wagoneer. Their sales are up 660% year over year. I never thought I'd see a Grand Wagoneer outsell a Suburban. Well, that's going on right now.
Yeah.
So they're doing the right thing.
And to counter JB just a little bit, and it's not just that I'm a Ram fan or that I'm a Dodge fan. I love all the vehicles, Ford, GM. I mean, I drive all of them. But what I will say is if you look at Ram from this perspective, and this is not sticking up for them because, it is what it is. But, before the Hellcat Charger, what did they have? The Camaro IROC Z, right? I mean, they moved the market up. And when they came out with this 2019 interior, y'all, that's the reason the other two had to play catch up.
For sure.
Otherwise, we'd probably still have the manual door locks, the roll down windows. I mean,
Yep.
it just the plastic everywhere. I mean, so, if you go back and look at Dodge and Ram's history, we wouldn't have the Raptor R if it wasn't for the TRX.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't have a
100%.
lot of vehicles on the road if it wasn't. And I think that's what like the Brotherhood and the Dodge, and they talk about that. And that's because they always bring something out that pushes the market. It's kind of like this 160 mile an hour Rumblebee. It's not my truck. It's not something I'm interested in, but a truck from the factory that's going to do 160 miles an hour, I'm going to
cool.
And has 2-wheel drive option, and it's an all-wheel drive truck on top of that. I was a little disappointed though with the Super B this weekend too. I won't lie about that. But did want to give them some credit. And Barry and I have driven this Hurricane engine for a long time. And I went through 2 RHOs, and I'm in the TRX right now. And the TRX is fun. It has good supercharger whine. But I'm still going to tell you that Hurricane 0 to 60, and I went to Houston and back today, which was 100 and something miles. I burned a whole tank of fuel. RHO would have done that trip in less than half a tank, doing the same drive with the same tires, same everything. And it's just the Hurricane engine gets a lot of hate, but if you go drive one, you'll understand it. I don't think it's right for the
four of us in this whole podcast right here. Or 4 of us have a Hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's actually a good segue. Look what Jason just did. You went from a 6.4 natural aspirated V8 to a Hurricane.
Yep. Standard output Hurricane. Standard output.
Yeah.
Oh, love it, right?
We're so poor, you and I.
I'll tell you what I do. I'll tell you what this. I've said it before, and I will say it again. Without question, if the Power Wagon came with this standard output Hurricane, I would take that over the 6.4 in a heartbeat. Now, again, remember, I'm keeping them for 80,000 miles. Then I'm getting rid of it before 100,000 miles. So people can say longevity this and heat cycle and this and whatever BS stuff they want to that I hear in the comments all the time. But I'll tell you what, power for power ratio, this motor flat out rips. This thing is insane. That V8, that 6.4 V8, it was nice, but it can't hold a candle to what this Hurricane's doing. This Hurricane is just wicked. And I go from a different truck, obviously, 2,500. But, I mean, it sure is nice going from 10.2 MPGs with my style of driving in the woods to now being at 17 MPGs. Yeah. Feels a lot nicer,
Yep. No, it's a good move. Well,
yeah, that brings up something I'd love to ask you guys, because I see this in the comments all the time. And people are always like, what truck should I buy? We just saw it here, right? What mid-size should I buy? What half-ton should I buy? And I think it's a really good time to try to help people. You really have to identify what you're going to use the truck for. It's like when you watch Jason's videos or Barry's or Rocky's or JB's, anybody, we all have different requirements, right? Like different trailering requirements or not trailering or fishing or whatever. And I know just buying this Ram and going from a large SUV to a Ram truck, it doesn't matter what truck I bought. it's a pain in the ass to load a kayak and fish with, right? I can't lock my one-piece poles in it like I could an SUV. So even though the SUV is not as cool looking, it's not good for YouTube. It would have been a better vehicle overall for me for what I use it for. But if someone's hunting and throwing animals back there all the time, they're not going to want that SUV. So I just think it's important that people don't just watch the channels, like identify what your use case is.
Yeah.
100% agree. And I feel like that is a great segue. Let's start with this then. If you were going to each make a recommendation of a mid-sized truck new right now, let's start with new. What would you go with and why? Let's start with Rocky.
Right now, what price range are we looking at, Barry?
Considering the fact that affordability has been a big deal, let's stick more in like the under 50 grand range, probably. I'm just thinking because the affordability is the biggest thing I see right now, and I want to focus on affordability.
So in today's market, I like the Denali Ultimate, but that's not going to fit that because the hands-free driving and the features. But if we're dropping down and talking about what I would purchase today to get the most features, the best warranty, and the best price, it would probably be a Bighorn full-wheel drive 1500 with the Hurricane. And getting 25% off of it right now and finding a 26 that would have a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
See, and that's a unique suggestion because I would almost say the same thing because most people, not all, many people look at a mid-sized truck because they look at price. But what you can get a discounted Ram for, you're in mid-sized truck territory price-wise. Yep. How about you, JB?
You said mid-size, or are you saying full size?
No, let's mid-size.
Okay. So not Ranger, Tacoma.
Yeah, that's a mid-size.
Okay. I was. So as far as mid-size trucks go, I would say Toyota Tacoma.
Tacoma?
I think for what they bring to the market, like for features, for the money, I know they're a little bit more expensive. The resale value is a little bit better than the others, I would say, too. And I think the way they package their trucks is a little bit better, too. Like you
look sharp.
Yeah, you get more for the money if you don't go up to the higher trim levels. And you can easily buy one for 40, 50 grand and be happy with what you get in that package.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Jeremy?
Yeah. I honestly think the midsize is a pretty cool segment. I think you almost can't go wrong. Like the Frontiers have really good prices. If you're looking for super longevity, that's what people trust more because it's naturally aspirated. But to JB's point, the Tacoma's been really good. It really hasn't had the issues the Tundra's had. Everybody likes the build quality better. If you watch TRD John, he likes it a lot better than the Tundra. The Ranger was really fun when we drove it. I loved the steering radius in the Ranger. The Chevy, the 2.7 Jason has, it was awesome to drive. Like they're all kind of a kick in the pants to drive. They're nimble on trails, like tight trails in Colorado. And I don't know, like go drive them all. You got to see the vision is drastically different. Like they drive differently. You sit differently. The seats feel different. So people just have to drive them. But as far as reliability, which is what I focus on, I think they're all pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Jason.
Two parts, because I'm what they call Abby normal in what I do with a truck, so mine will be a little different. But in the real world, if I was like everybody else out there, my opinion would be that the Colorado and a Trail Boss is hard to beat. You get a 2-inch lift, the thing looks aggressive as can be. It's got an incredible motor with gobs of power and torque, and you can get the thing for under $40,000 or right around the $40,000 mark. In my opinion, that truck is a steal, and it looks good. Resale's good, rock solid resale on it. It's an incredible truck. But me personally, Gladiator Rubicon, no doubt about it, hands down. I'd own another one right now in a heartbeat, and I probably will own more. That truck by far one of the funnest, most capable, do everything fit my lifestyle better than any other truck I've owned. That is it, hands down.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. That is fun. And one of the things I love about the Gladiator is, and I know you probably recognize, Jason, you had one for so long, but the reach to get into the bed of the truck, it's such a shallow box. It's just awesome. Taking the roof off.
I can get it. I can reach over the bed of it even with 35-inch tires on it. And remember, my legs are like 9 inches long, and I can still reach over the rails of that thing.
Well, see, that's a good point too. Why haven't they put the Hurricane in the Gladiator yet?
I thought it was coming. Yeah, I thought it was coming, but I don't know. It would have been phenomenal. Or get that
or a
V8 in there
5.7,
quick.
or
Yeah.
even give
Yeah.
us a 392.
Right.
They're
Something.
dropping the 392. It's coming. So they've
Yeah.
already announced that, I think. So we're going to see that.
That'd be a
go
cool
across the
truck.
line pretty soon.
Mhm.
If I was going to go one, Jason already nailed it, and someone else in the comments said, I think for the money, the Trail Boss Colorado is just a home run. It looks cool. I love the look of the exterior. I like the interior. I like the 2.7 motor. That's really hard to beat. I'm in a weird scenario where a midsize truck doesn't really tow what I want to do. So at that point, I would actually probably step down and I would actually go to a Maverick all-wheel drive hybrid, because I've just been so impressed with the fuel economy and the interior space. But that would be a truck that I wouldn't tow. It'd be like a dirt bike, hunting small area only, because you're not towing anything with it. And it's a car platform. But if you needed a truck to run to a hunting piece of property, throw a deer in the bed or whatever, I think that truck is really awesome. But the key to that, I think, is you got to buy like entry level price, because these things can get away from you price wise. That's my thought. Now let's go to this, guys. Full size truck, best truck for 40 to 50,000 bucks today. And do you think that'll change for 2027 with the new changes, the new trucks and mods coming with these things?
Who are you calling?
You go, let's go, Rocky. Let you go first.
Well, since I went ahead and pulled we kind of got in the mid-size, and I picked like a full half ton, right? I would still go with that 40 to 50,000, probably a Bighorn, just because those are really comfortable. The seats are comfortable. Even the cloth in them feels good. And the amenities you get, the power windows, the nice instrument cluster, all the things that come in that truck. But I want to go to my mid-size because I missed that. But I'm going to follow Jason's two trucks, believe it or not, because I believe that for mid-size, I would pick the Gladiator or that Colorado too. But for my full size half ton, it'd be a Bighorn Ram.
JP.
I mean, $40,000 and $50,000 ain't gonna buy you a nice full size pickup. But if you're talking about discounts, I mean, I would say again, Bighorn would be a good one. Ford's too expensive, but I would say maybe a GMC Sierra with the elevation package.
Elevation, yeah.
Base model with no options with a 2.7.
Such a fanboy.
For the money, I'm sorry. For the money.
How about you, Rock? How about you, Jeremy, car guy?
Yeah, I mean, this is super easy with the prices recently. Like, I don't know how anyone would pick anything other than like a Ram Rebel or the Bighorn, because the price is, like, I see Rebels local, pretty much the same thing that I got for 52,000, and that's not even negotiating. Right at that top end of the range, and then Bighorns are less. It just seems like such an easy thing when everybody worries about reliability. You get a better warranty, you get the Hurricane, which is, I just think it drives better than any of the other trucks. The interior is nicer, it's quieter. Like there's so many benefits to it. I drove them all. Ford would probably be my runner-up right now.
I feel like I already know Jason's answer, but I just got to let him finish.
Well, actually, I'm going to change it now because we went from $40,000 to $50,000 trucks, then we started getting into prices that you could buy street price of $40,000, $50,000 trucks. So I'm going with I would probably have to say I'd go with a Chevy Silverado 2500 with a 6.6 gasser and a custom and get it 4-wheel drive and have it come in at about probably $46,000, $47,000 and take that all day long.
That's an interesting suggestion right there, man. That's hard to beat the value on that truck for sure. Yeah, good.
You don't
point.
get the amenities, you don't get a lot of the features, but you're getting
Probably
a
reliable.
4-wheel drive 2500 with a great motor, and you're getting it for under $50,000.
Yep. So I'm going to add a second part to this. So we're talking new trucks. When Jason and I were talking the other day about his new truck and his trade-in on the tradesman, dude, I think a bargain used truck right now, new is obviously a good deal. It's discounted. Trying to find a 25 or 26 tradesman 2500 Ram right now. Those trucks seem to be getting clobbered in resale, and you start looking at that $34,000 to $45,000 when you could have a 25 or 26 HD truck 4-wheel drive. Dude, that's a solid truck for the money. Literally, LED headlights. You don't hear many people having issues with that 6.4 engine. You know it's a good trans.
Yep. That 6.4 served me very well. I loved it. Gas mileage is brutal, but it is for any HD truck. There's no doubt about it. They're up high, solid front axles in the front. Well, GM's not solid front, but I mean, you got a lot of wind resistance on them, and they're struggling there. There's no doubt about it. But that 6.4 was phenomenal.
I agree. I tell you, if this is outside of the topic of 40 to 50 and 55 to 60, but if I was looking for a truck right now and I needed some higher capability, I think a used 25, 26 Ram HD right now, I don't know what it is. Those trucks are getting hammered in resale. That's a heck of a truck. Okay, next group, 55 to 60. Let's start with JB.
Man, for 27, I would pick the Ford F-150 XLT.
Okay.
Because I think if I read the press release correctly, I think it comes standard with blackout. If I read that correctly. So you can basically get one of those trucks in that price range pretty easy with no options.
And it's going to have the 3-liter, which should rip.
Yes.
That's a great suggestion. Think about for 27. Huh?
Especially if it comes with blackout standard.
Yeah, that's a cool setup. I agree. What do you think, Rocky?
I'm staying with the Ram and the amenities. I think for that price, I can move into a limited with the high output Hurricane today, all day long, hands-free driving, Ram boxes, and get all those amenities for under 60 grand right now.
Yep. You could almost, I saw someone the other day post, they found, I don't know if it was a 25 or 26 RHO level 0. It might have been used, now thinking about it, 3,000 miles for like 56 grand. I'm like, that's a sweet truck, for that kind of money. Jason, what do you think?
I'm kind of hopeful that it hits an MSRP pretty close to there, but it's not actually out yet the price isn't out for it yet. But if I could, and we could probably get it for that, but that new STX Tremor in the F-150 Ford's coming out with for 2027, cloth seats, bare bones, simplified, still got the, a lot of nice features. You got the lift, you got the Raptor boards, you got the, you got a dual exhaust, dual recovery points on the back. I'm excited for that truck to come out tremendously. Otherwise, I would say that the F-250 XL with the off-road 35 package and the 7.3, which we know is going to fit in that category, would be my go-to right there. That would be one heck of a truck. A good off-road, comfortable on the road, still have the hauling payload capability, kind of fit that bill.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not an amenities person. So for me, it's a lot easier because I can pick lower level trims. I don't care if it's got heated seats and I don't like leather. So for me, like I said, I got a whole world of trucks that are open in that world.
Yep. How about you, car guy?
Yeah, I'm going to say same thing as Rocky. I don't see how you could pass up the high output Hurricane and the limited for that compared to what everybody else is offering. If I was going to spend that much and I couldn't get the limited Ram, I'd probably look at the 6.6. I saw a 6.6 Duramax in a kind of a trimmed down 2500 at a GM dealer the other day, and it was close to 60. And it was like, why wouldn't someone do that over some of these half tons at this point? The resale would be awesome on that thing.
Good point.
But
I would say I would either go with Super Duty, especially for 27. I just built one and I'm hoping the 7.3 thing power is on point. I built a 7.3 XL STX Tremor for 64 grand MSRP. With discounts, you're going to be 59 grand range. I think that'd be sweet. Or like you said, I'm actually going to switch it up. I'd go a GMC HD in like a pro level. For one reason, over the Chevrolet, you get LED headlights, and it's like a $600 more expensive truck than the Chevrolet variant. I don't know. That's so weird how they do this. The Pro level's got the LED headlights, but the base GM work truck has halogens. I'd probably go that. You could get a Duramax, like you said, I think in a 55-60. Resale's awesome. Who knows what the diesel and gas premium is going to be for the future, but right now, diesel's about the same amount as premium where we live. So diesel would save me a lot of per cost mileage than my HO. Someone here has mentioned in this comment, and I got to add to this because it's, even though none of us talk about EVs because people just flame us and are not into it. Dude, for the money, that Slate truck that's like $28,000 is really interesting. You know, what I like about what they're doing, even though I'm not the customer for an EV truck, I need the range, I need the towing. I like that you can build off that platform. So if you were tight on a budget and you needed a truck bed and you didn't care if it had roll up windows and drum brakes, what you can do building out for the future, that's a vehicle you could potentially build up in the future. I think it's awesome in that regard. The part I'm still a little bit confused about with the Slate, though, is for the same price, you can go get a Maverick today and not have to do any of that. And it does have better features. So that's the one argument against the Slate I have, is a base level Maverick, I think, is a better value personally.
And parts and repairability.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're right. You know, that's what scares you about some of this insurance and dealership network, or, you know, you get an accident, is it going to be totaled out because it's an EV? Yeah. What's the next question we got here? I think we actually covered a lot of the topics today, guys. We can kind of catch up with some of the top questions. I know a lot of people having questions about changes for RAM. Yes, everything we understand, e-torque is going away once they burn up the inventory on the 5.7. Warranty's not confirmed yet. Ford seems to be holding back some stuff. I believe they're still a few years out from a refreshed truck. I'm looking forward to that. The truck I'm most excited about right now, personally, is the new Silverado. Not so much the Sierra. I'm sure it's going to be a great truck, but I don't care for the looks of it. I don't like the interior of it either. And it's the first time I've seen a GMC I don't like more than the Chevrolet, because the GMCs normally look awesome. Interior, exterior, not digging this new one at all.
What do you guys think about, I mean, do you think GM's going to get it right? If they get these two V8s right, do you think they're going to just dominate in sales? Like if they could just have just average reliability compared to the 6.2?
I think they do, and I think they will. And people can call me whatever they want to say. I mean, I have a Ram and I love it. I love the Hurricane, whatever. It's been awesome. I put 40,000 miles on Hurricanes and I had a problem with them. With that being said, should be a simple V8. It should be an awesome engine. General Motors, generally speaking, get great fuel economy. They've got good low end torque, and they've been reliable in the past. And I think GM's going to get back to that. Even all the issues with GM aside, I do think statistically the GM trucks are not terrible. They've just got a really bad go the last few years. And I just saw a comment the other day on an L87 on one of the GM full-size SUV pages. Someone went and had the L87, you know, where they do the Pico, they check the cam. What did they check the cam rollout and see if they see enough rollout in the cam sensor, they know the motor's wiped out, you get a recall, you get a new motor. They passed that test. And 15,000 miles later, the engine still failed. And that was one where it kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, dude, that's not good. Like that one concerns me a little. And I love the 6.2. I think it's an awesome engine, but it still scares me.
I want to say something about GM too. You know, we've had a lot of Escalades. We've had a lot of Yukon Denali's, and I don't think that anybody does a family SUV better, in my opinion, than GM, 100%. And I think they lost some of their market with the 6.2 this past year, just with the problems with, you know, Escalades. We've seen Escalades with motors that have given out. We've seen the Yukon Denali's, the Tahoes, stuff like that. And man, they're getting that new motor and that platform this year. And I mean, they've always, to me, I just feel like they've dominated the SUV market. And I'm kind of excited for them to get this new motor and put it in these new SUVs. I think it's going to drink a little more fuel, but I think people are going to be excited just to kind of get away from that 6.2 in the SUV.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
Hey,
I agree.
Hey, Barry, what do you think the horsepower is going to come in on that 6.6 for the half tons?
Oh, man.
Am I allowed to ask that question? You might know the answer to this, actually.
I'll beat around the bush. But if I had to guess, I think it's going to be at least 475 horsepower. The number for me, though, is I really hope they hit at least like 480, 490 torque at a lower RPM. Because, yes, will the high output Hurricane probably beat it in a drag race? Yes, for sure. That thing's an animal.
Yeah.
But here's the big but. There's something about a natural aspirated V8 with more cylinders pushing that I could see if they can even hit less power, it might have really good towing performance. in sea level elevation where you're at, JB, man, you got to have boost. It's just, if it's diesel or gas, I'm going boost, plain and simple.
For sure.
Jason and I have pulled trailers out west before, and man, I don't know how anybody has an NA motor out there. It just felt like a turd.
Well, and to your point, Rocky, like, and that's why I brought that up, because with the SUVs now, the Escalade has always been, in my opinion, like really hard to buy because of the 6.2, because it has the same horsepower and torque as a Chevy Tahoe and Suburban. So with this new 6.6, hopefully they open it up to have more power on those higher trims, like with the Yukon, Denali Ultimate, and the Cadillac Escalade. So, I mean, I was hoping to see 500 because the 5.7 should have in the fours too.
Yeah.
I would say that would have around 420. And so the 6.6 should be able to cross over to 500 with the high output Hurricane having 540.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm at the point anymore. If someone could prove me analytically with data, I don't even care about horsepower or fuel economy anymore. Just give me the most reliable powertrain. If someone could quantifiably nail that in, I think that would be the best selling engine out right now. And I don't know, like at that point, do you derate the performance to get the reliability up? Because I think they'd sell a crap ton of trucks if it was just the most reliable.
Yeah, true.
Ford just did a thing. I just made a video about it. It's in the members area right now. It'll go public pretty soon. But Ford just came out and said that their Charlie Coons or whatever he's the VP of engineering and something or another. But he just said that their goal and what they're driving for and what their expectations is that all engines for Ford truck stuff can go 15 years or 225,000 miles reliable and consistently without problems during that 225,000 mile 15-year period. I just made a video on it. I find that pretty interesting. I mean, it could be lip service like we get from all these guys, but could you imagine that 225,000 miles or 15 years straight on a Ford without having any kind of motor or powertrain? He specifically said power trains in there.
It's phenomenal.
They got a wet belt in them. I think it's got to be changed earlier than that. But I found it very interesting. If you could do that, any manufacturer today that could prove that you can run 225,000 miles on a powertrain, you're going to be flooded with people buying it. You won't keep it in stock,
And
I would
Jason, to follow that. I'm following you on that. But one of the things too is Ram put their money where their mouth was with a 10-year, 100,000 mile powertrain on a brand new motor, right?
Yep.
They can talk about it. But come on, let's do more than a 5-year 60 on the powertrains.
God, I wish I said that in my video. Man, now I got to re-edit it.
Like put that out there, right? Because no other manufacturer's been ever said, hey, we'll give you a 10-year 100,000. Y'all remember the old Cummins 12 valves? I think there was a lifetime powertrain on those as long as it was the original owner or something like that.
That's incredible.
You could buy Ram used to offer lifetime warranties for like $3,000.
Yep. I have a buddy with one of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so it's like I said, setting that marker, right? And so it's neat that Ford's talking about it, but okay, let's come on with it and let's put a warranty behind it. Let's put, like you said, this where it's good to go.
Wish I would have put that in that video. God, that's such a solid point.
I've got a buddy with a 21 F350 trimmer 7.3, and I think he's got 95,000 miles on it. Not had one warranty repair with it, and he's not even great on oil changes. He pretty much goes the full interval. He tows with it. It's sat outside its entire life. Michigan climate. He just runs it, and it's been solid. I heard a rumor that the lowest warranty repair engine Ford makes today is a 7.3. They have like the least amount of engine issues on that engine.
It's really good to know.
It's not a lot to them.
No,
yeah. They're simple design. Are they push rod V8?
Yep.
So, yeah.
I think Ram, they removed the e-torque or this 6.4. They put the 6.4 at 475, 485 horse in the 1500. Those could be pretty solid options right there. I think that'll in the Ram. I think that'll be pretty good. I'm pretty impressed by like the new 5-liter. I mean, my buddy, we just did this towing review recently, and I couldn't get over how well that 5-liter towed. Way better than the old 5 liters. Much better low end torque. It is incredible. And that was a good engine.
And we talked about that. They're putting those. I think you can only get the 5-liter though in the Lariats and up, right? Or was it only the King Ranch and the Platinums? I can't remember.
Might be. Might
For
be.
2020
For 27 for the Coyote, for you to get
Yeah.
that 5 liter, I think you have to get a very high trim. I don't even
I
think you
see.
can get it in the Lariat. I could be wrong, but dude, that I will give that 5 liter a good. You talk about dependability. It's been a good motor.
Now for 2023, they had it for the Platinum and King Ranch down.
Yeah.
2024 to 2026, they killed it for the King Ranch and the Platinum. But for 27, they're bringing back the 5 liter Coyote for the King Ranch and the Platinum.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So I got a question. This is a great question from Jimmy. Is torque considered more important than horsepower? What would you guys say?
In my world, in the
Same
truck
here.
world,
Yeah. Depends on the
Yeah.
application.
Yeah.
You know, I think
Go ahead. Go ahead.
we talk about like that 0 to 60, and we talked about this about the Raptor R. Barry and I've had conversations. In a truck, you know, horsepower is that you get out and you floor it and it's wrapped out and it's moving fast. And that's power you're going to use every once in a while. But that torque is really when that 0 to 60 and you barely push on that accelerator and it just feels like that truck's moving and there's a lot left to go, I guess is the best explanation. That's why I like the Hurricane so much, is that 0 to 60 is just phenomenal.
Yep.
And that 3.5 Eco Boost, I'll give that engine credit too. I mean, you can pull a huge boat with that half ton and it doesn't even care that anything's back there. And it's more just the torque of that engine.
Yep. I just got to show this comment. This is really funny. I'm a hater. No, I'm truly not a hater. I've felt bad for GM. I think that in a lot of ways, I think they've gotten a lot of negativity that I don't think is fully justified. I mean, I'd be super upset if I had a new GM with the L87 failed. But at the end of the day, dude, they're putting 150,000 mile warranty on these things. And it's like, the thing I thought all along was resale is going to tank on these. I don't know how, but GM full-size trucks and SUVs with the 6.2 are still not getting hurt on resale.
Yeah. Well, I don't think
A
we're
lot
done
of people don't even know.
Oh, go ahead.
A lot of people don't even research it. They have no idea until
Yeah,
they.
you're
until
probably
it
right.
happens. They go into the groups and they're like, "Hey, is this a common problem?" And people just bash them. You know,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
they're just living life.
Yeah. YOLO. What were you going to say, JB?
I said, I don't think we were done beating up on Ram. I mean, we kind of skipped over them a little bit, but we
Yeah.
never talk about this Ram Power Wagon with the Cummins. I mean, are we gonna brush over this too? Because I want to hear you guys. I want to hear you guys' thoughts first.
I'm ready. Let's bash
I got to
it.
be careful what I say. Video goes live at 9 a.m. next 7 days from now.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. People have been wanting a Cummins and a Power Wagon for 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay. They did it. It's got a lot of the soul of the Power Wagon, like front and rear selectable lockers, the only truck in its class that has that. And I think it's phenomenal because Jason and I were talking about this the other day. I don't want a limited slip in the front of a truck, and I don't want a limited slip in the rear of a truck. I want a selectable locker because I drive in bad weather and pulls trailers in the snow, and there's nothing sketchier than a limited slip. I want open diffs towing trailers in the winter with that. And when I want it locked in, I want both axles locked in. I think Ram delivered on that. I like the sway bar disconnect. What I wish they would have done is put a winch up front, make it like the Power Wagon gas. I wish they would have done the Articulink suspension like the Power Wagon gas. But this is the thing. This is what people understand. Everything is about trade-offs. Ram was like, how do we do this but not this? If they did the full suspension of a Power Wagon gas, this thing would have less payload than a Ford Maverick, and it would probably have tow rating of a Ford Ranger. It'd be a worthless truck. So they had to stiffen up the suspension and make it an HD. And I think that probably most of the people that would want that truck are not actually rock crawling. They just want selectable lockers and a sway bar disconnect. So I think they hit that. And if you want that full rock crawling capability, dude, you're just gonna, and you want a Power Wagon, gas is gonna be a little better. That's what I'll say about that.
I think their only mistake was that they used the name Power Wagon because it's not a Power Wagon. And the Power Wagon's been what it has been for so long. Now, it does have front and rear lockers, but I will say that I think they nailed it in the fact that like you just said, nobody is going to buy a diesel power wagon if it was actually like the true power wagon and came in with 1,500 pounds of capacity for payload and could only tow 10,000 pounds on a diesel. They would throw a complete fit. So
For sure.
you end up with 20-inch wheels. Why? Because if you had 17-inch wheels with 35-inch tires, it'd be all over the road. You couldn't control it with any load in it. So you get 20s with 34s. And you get front and rear lockers. You know what else has 20 and 34s in a rear locker in the same lift, in the same exact colors, in the same exact interior? A Ram Rebel. This is basically like a Rebel plus a front locker is what it is.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it is like it is really like a heavy duty Rebel. I see it more that way too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did a video this week, and I said, just like with what you had, Jason, you had a tradesman power wagon,
Yep.
right? Why don't they just power wagon everything, including the 1-ton trucks, get it on the mega cab? I would even say, even though I don't think they would do it, but even do it on the dually truck, because in a lot of cases, like you said too, Barry, people just want the front rear lockers. You know, if you live on a farm, if you have a lot of land, sometimes you just want what you want. And we've always had a power wagon with the Cummins in the Rebel. If you looked at the window stickers on the Rebel, it literally said power wagon Rebel back in 2024 and 2025. So we've always had it, but they still made it purpose built for going off road, which again, 20% of people probably actually do take those trucks off road. The other 80% would not dare put mud on their truck. So I think that they should have made it available in a 1-ton truck. And then again, just like GM went out to AEV and just used their front bumper so that they could actually use a winch with the Cummins, because theirs can actually flow to the intercooler with their setup. So they just, again, they have good ideas. Execution is just down. So
And I want to say this about Ram HD too, and this is a little bit JB's trying to bash on him, and I'm pretty much a Ram fan, but I will say that one day they will put massage seats, and I know I sound bougie saying this, but they will put massage seats, and they'll put a heads-up display, and they'll catch the technology up with the competitors, because GM and Ford have a lot more tech in them than the HD Ram does. When it comes to the half ton has more tech to me than the competitors, but they've really left the HD out on some of the tech, and for the price point and what people want in these HDs, I just think they need to do some of those things.
I don't disagree. I truly think, guys, this comes back to, you got to look at the value proposition of the Ram HD truck. They've been running this cab configuration for what, 15 years now, 20 years, since what, 2011? Okay. So from 2011 to 2027, that's like 16 years, the same cab configuration. But by not switching it up and going to a generation, it's a lot cheaper, so they can get more competitive on price than the 2 generations of Fords in between. I think as soon as Ram goes this new DT2 platform with a bigger second row and does some more of that tech in there with the Cummins, livens that motor up some more, they're gonna sell a lot more of these trucks. Honestly, the thing I don't understand why no one's done this yet, for the price you're paying on these trucks, there should be an option you should be able to get, just like a semi truck. You should be able to get airbags from the factory front and rear with Magna Ride shocks. So if you want the thing to ride like a half ton, you can. If you want this thing to tow like a 1 ton, you can. Then you don't have to sacrifice. That will be the most ultimate truck in the HD segment if they do that.
yeah, well, we can't beat up on Ram too much, because Ford did the exact same thing back in from 98 till 2016, they had the same cab. And I'm willing to bet you money from 2017 till 2030, they're going to have the exact same cabs too. And even even in the redesign, because it's more cost effective not to change it.
100%.
Go ahead.
And honestly, JB, I think that old steel body truck rides and drives a lot better than the Illumiduty. The Illumiduty looks sick. I like the aluminum body. I like the bigger cab configuration. But the first time I drove a 17 Super Duty, I'm like, dude, this thing drives like trash compared to the 16. It's like more death wobble, more feedback in the steering wheel. I love the Ford trucks. I'm a Ford fanboy at heart always, but I don't like driving the Ford HDs. They ride rough. The GM and the Ram drives a lot better going down the road, in my opinion.
Now the pick for me, and this is, you talk about airbags too, the 2500 in Ram since I think 2019 has offered the full airbag system in the rear. which is probably one of the best for towing. It's not a lot of payload on that unit. You can get the airbags on the 1 ton, but you still are running mainly spring. It's an airbag assist. But on the 2500, you could always get that. But the problem is you couldn't get the high output engine. And so this year, or I guess last year, when they came out with the 8-speed, the part I like now is you can get that great riding 2500 that has full rear air that no other manufacturer is doing rear air on their trucks. You can get that full rear air, and now there's not a high output Cummins, so you can get that higher power Cummins in that 2500. So that's a more marketable truck. And if you go look on the lots for a rear air suspension 2500 Cummins mega cab, good luck. Every one of them sold.
I believe you. Here's a comment from Trevor Hume. This is a very accurate statement, in my opinion. The last good motor GM had in the half ton, I'm going to clarify, was the GMT 900. Man, that was an era of trucks that ran and ran and ran.
They're everywhere down here in the South. We have no winter down here, so they're a dime a dozen. They're half of every parking lot is.
Yep.
Yeah.
With that being said, I feel like the GM66 has been very solid gas engine. You rarely hear of anybody having a problem with that engine. It seems to be a very good engine. Yeah. No, that's now here's another comment. None of us get into the politics stuff, but here's something you guys got to think about your calculus when you're doing your math. If there are changes in the tariffs, these will impact prices. Let's think about this. The Ram 1500 is manufactured in Mexico. All Ram's engines now are coming out of Mexico. Cummins, all the gas engines are Mexico. The Ford Super Duty Power Stroke, the Scorpion engine's made in Mexico. The Ford Godzilla is made in Canada. So there's a lot of risk of price increases I see coming. If there are any changes with tariffs, I could see impacts. And this is why I've said right from the beginning where we started this, now might be the beginning or in the heart of the best prices of trucks. Snag a deal if you're on the fence, because I don't see we're going to see deals that like this stay for long. I don't know. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, AI is probably going to push prices up as well. It already is in everything. Because
because like data center energy cost and whatnot?
No, I think the silicon, all the SSD chips are going to AI. Everybody's just diverting their supply chain to them, and everything else is going up. If you want to go buy an iPad or a MacBook Pro today, it costs $2,000 more than it did 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm. My God.
So when you look at that, they're putting all these chips in trucks. I mean, they're so over-teched, and all that is just going to go up in price. It's not going to be like a massive increase, but it just adds to the problem of tariffs.
Yeah. You know what? You bring up a good point. Before we get there, Cummins is made in Indiana. I believe the Cummins engine is made in Indiana, or if it's parts of the Cummins engine, because my understanding, JB, you probably know more on this than I do. There's 2 variants of that ISB motor. I think part of it for the automotive industry might have been made in Mexico. But then I've also heard it's made in Columbus, Indiana. But at the end of the day, the truck is manufactured down in Saltillo, Mexico for the HD.
And the motor says it right on the window sticker. My 6.4 even, it says it there too. It's built right in Mexico.
Okay. Yeah. Car guy, you bring up a good point, because I figure I bought a few memory cards recently, and I'm like, man, this used to be like $15 for one of these things, and it was $80, and I had a hard time finding one. It's like I'm going to like random places to pick up a memory card. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, remember right after COVID, I mean, that was the big thing. Oh, supply chain issues. And well, we're just going to have increase in price, and potentially the same thing where they're leaving chips out of trucks or something. If this boom keeps going, I suppose there's a chance that the AI bubble is going to just burst and everything will recoil and it'll be fine. But that's not happening so far.
Okay, can I jump in on that 1 second, though, because I find it interesting? I actually made a video, and then I deleted it because I didn't have enough background for it. I just was like, I don't want to put it out there. But I was telling you about this, Barry. We were talking about it. But GM has just invested $4.5 billion into some other parts supplier that specializes in storing and stockpiling critical and unicorn type parts and things like this. Speaking of sensors, chips, stuff like this. Well, GM just signed a $4.5 billion contract for them to have this stuff available, because they see something coming in the future that we don't know about, is my guess on there. Again, I didn't have enough information. I made the whole video and I was like, no, I'm going to get ripped apart because I don't know what I'm talking about. So I deleted it, didn't make it. But what you're saying right now makes a lot of sense to that too, that maybe they did know something's coming that we're not aware of, that I'm not aware of, that they're planning for.
It seems like you're seeing it everywhere on this, because you're hearing the news about these critical rare earth minerals that they have export control licenses. You can't get out of China now, and now the material's not available. I was talking to some guy earlier today, and he's saying his background was like electromagnet, whatever. And back in the day, it was neurodynium, which you could only get out of China. And there was this one mine that had the best neurodynium for magnet engines, and they raised the price 1,000% over a short period of time, which made the prices go through the roof. And I'm wondering, like you said, this is going to drive price up, and with AI and everything, and especially gas engines right now and diesel, to meet emissions, you have to have a 3-way catalyst in the exhaust system. And it's a mix in the precious metals for the catalytic converter to react. You got platinum, rhodium, and palladium, and the prices on those have went through the roof. It's insanely expensive on the catalytic converters now. So, man, that's going to drive price up too. So if you're on the fence, sounds like you should buy a truck right now.
Hey, Barry, one thing too. What do you think about the Carvana that owns a Stellantis dealership?
Okay, so here's what I've heard about the Carvana thing. Carvana's not allowed to sell vehicles in all states. It's only some states. Like, it's almost like an Amazon of car buying. Is that what you guys understand too?
Carvana is stepping into the new car realm.
That's what I mean. In new cars.
There are 7 Ram dealerships. They've already
bought 7.
They bought 7. One of them is right down there by where you are, down there in Houston, right by Rocky, where you're at, right? Or Dallas.
I think so.
And they're crushing it. They're crushing the sales. They're blowing everybody else out of the water. The number 1 Ram dealer in the world right now is that one that's down there in Dallas, and it's Carvana's dealership. And they're also the one down there in Dallas, if not mistaken, is going to. They actually have a no salesman purchasing option there now, where you walk in and you hit a button on a kiosk and it tells you about the vehicles. There's somebody there to help you with questions, but you can actually check the vehicle out yourself, test drive it by yourself. It is a no salesperson or whatsoever buying experience.
Wow. Now, what I wanted to say on that, and the reason I brought that up, is because it's going to change the way that this is all done. And y'all know we have good dealers and we know what bad dealers are, right? I'm not naming any, but we've seen how they will just literally take advantage of people. Some of these bad dealers, right? You got a good credit score and we're going to hit you 10 on your trade. We're going to get you for 7 or 8 over on this. And, it's just, I'm kind of interested in this Carvana thing. I wanted to know y'all's opinion because, if you can literally walk in, it's like a credit card transaction and you buy your car without pack fees, nitrogen, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
The sad part is the bad people are going to ruin it for the good people. These bad dealerships are doing stuff that have pissed everybody off. I mean, everybody you talk to has had a bad dealership experience, at least one, if not multiple. So and the sad part is there are good dealers though making things right. Like, but you're 100% right. And it's concern. I'm okay with the process if they go that route, if it's better. I think having more channels keeps everybody honest. So if Carvana does a good job and they are successful with this, I think it's going to hold dealerships to doing a better job, which is good. Let's talk. Here's another topic we should definitely talk about. All the AI stuff going on right now in vehicles and everything. I read about this article with General Motors. I forgot the name of this system, like Active Driver or something, where I think it's on their Super Cruise, where if they think that you're not doing good, or I don't know if it's to catch people from drinking and driving or whatever, the vehicle will pull off the road. There's a lot of people, and I don't know how many comments I get a day, I'm sure you guys do too, where people are talking about the 2027 vehicles are snooping on you and watching you and are going to pull off the road. From what I've heard, when I searched this myself, I don't see anything change for 2027 as far as manufacturers having the technology. And also from what I read, there's no law requiring us. It's if manufacturers choose to put this technology into vehicles. But do you guys think this will happen where you could jump in a truck and you're tired and you had a long day at work, or something's going on and the vehicle won't let you start, won't let you leave your driveway, or leaves you stranded? You think that's actually real, or is that like internet hype?
No, it'll come. So it's not in law yet, but NHTSA's trying to finalize the law because they're trying not to screw it up the first go around. Manufacturers are going to love it because honestly, they're looking at it like a data brokering thing where they can turn around and say, well, look, National Highway Traffic and Safety forced us to put all these systems in there. And then they turn around and they have all this data, which is how they make money. And that's just another way to broker your data. But like at the end of this year, GM's trying to put proprietary in-vehicle AI in their system. That's different from what NHTSA is trying to force with. So GM's trying to do this custom AI thing because it's a buzzword. They want you to be able to talk to your car and say, oh, when's my next maintenance schedule or whatever. And then the NHTSA stuff is related specifically to like impaired driving, all that, where they could sense like your fingertips. They're using IR cameras to be able to tell your blood alcohol level just on your fingertips. So they could immediately tell that. They could look at your eyes. If you're wearing glasses, maybe they disable the vehicle or something. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I don't think it's going to be really hard to make everyone happy with it, but it's coming. I mean, they've got a huge document out on it.
And Ford's moving their entire architecture over. Remember, I talked about that a couple of months ago. It was on Ford Authority, I think it was. But Ford is moving there, and they want by 2030 every vehicle they have on a brand new architecture that is set up and ready for that kind of stuff, and with that capability. And actually, when I was looking at those Chevy Trax, when I almost was going to buy one to leave in Michigan, that Chevy Trax, when I looked at the 27 and was looking at some of the features, one of the features on the 27 was interior front-facing cameras that can watch you and do that kind of stuff. Like Jeremy said, or Car Guy said, where you can put the information in there and ask it questions and get responses from the actual vehicle.
That's wild. Hey, I see this comment that says this talk is too slow for Jason. He probably wants to bail. Just so you know, I actually slowed Jason down, just him, 50% on that last part.
People say it all the time. You talk way too fast. I'm like, look, there's a speed setting on YouTube. Just drop her down a little bit because if I talk slow, I got two speeds. 100 miles an hour of sleeping. It's one or the other. You
do too. I've seen you just pass out in the middle of doing anything. Oh, I love it.
So back on that, they've already had a case where the Mach-E, someone got into an accident and they took in-cabin footage from the Mach-E and they were able to use that in court, incriminate the person, put them in jail, convict them of, basically negligence because they killed people on the road. So they can see with the cameras whether you're gazing off at your phone or whatever. And while that's probably a scenario where that person probably deserved to go to jail for it, right? They killed people and they weren't paying attention and they were relying on that. What's Ford's version of Super Cruise? What's it called?
Blue Cruise. Yeah.
So that's going to happen more and more and more. And I don't think it's going away. I think they're just going to amplify that tech. And and they're going to use that data. I mean, they have the data. And if a court says, hey, give us the data, your in-cabin data is going to them, audio and all, and they can read your lips. So if you don't have audio, they have technology now, patents that they can read your lips and just kind of guess what you're saying. It's wild.
So old vehicles are going to pick up resale is what you're saying.
Well, look at them already. Look at the old Toyotas. They're insane. You look at an old Tundra, you got 200,000 miles on them and they're going for 20 to 25 grand. It's wild.
I also think it's because Toyota, how they manage their dealership and their inventory and how you can't order anything the way you want. I think it artificially, it's a reason. It's one of the reasons I don't own a Toyota. I think they make some great vehicles and trucks, but the entire ordering process to get a Toyota is so ridiculous. I just can't get past. It's such an expensive vehicle and I can't order the options, the colors, everything I want. I just have to be put on a list at a dealership and hope something comes in the way I want. I struggle with that. I'm not a fan of that. And that raises the price on all Toyotas because they manage it that way.
Yeah.
Then you have the distributors for Toyota. Oh God, don't even get me started on those. Up there where you are, Barry, I think we don't have them up in Michigan. At least I didn't when I bought the Tacoma and the 4Runner up there. It wasn't a big deal. But down here in the South, and I'm sure probably over where you guys are over on the other side of the country too. But here we have Southeast Toyota distributors. So they're automatically tacking every single Toyota within 500 miles of me. Is all comes through Southeast Toyota distributors, and they are hitting you with, like, your free oil change that you get when you buy a car and your tire rotation. They charge you $700 for that here through Southeast Toyota distributors. You're paying somewhere between $1,500 and $3,000 to $4,000 on every single Toyota in this area by add-ons that are put on by the Southeast Toyota distributor.
That is unbelievable. I can't even wrap my mind around that. Well, I guess we should probably sum this up. Do we hit all the topics? I know we wanted to talk about changes in resale for 27s, price points, affordability is a big deal, guys. We hear it. We see it in the comments hundreds of times per day that these vehicle prices are out of control. We all agree. No one doesn't disagree. The problem is, as long as everybody keeps buying it, nothing's going to change. And even if no one did quit buying it, I don't see supply chains being able to figure out how to drop prices 50% and stay in business. I don't see how it changes quickly, sadly. I mean, with what I've seen with Ford releasing their 27 Super Duty prices, it's promising. I mean, I didn't see them bump the price like what aligns with inflation. It was half of inflation, if not a third of inflation. So that's a good thing. Maybe we'll see the same on the F-150. Ram, you look at the price you can buy a new Ram for right now in mid $40,000 for a 4-wheel drive crew cab. I mean, you had a hard time doing that 15 years ago. So
do you think it's the price, like in the case you're saying for Ram? At least now in 2026, we have good prices and a lot of stock. So what you said is true. And that's what TFL and other people point out is that, hey, these prices are traditionally, if you adjust for inflation, aren't that bad. But what is bad is like everything else costs so much for people that's why it feels so terrible. I think that's why people are so upset at the truck prices, because eggs and their healthcare and their insurance, everything's up, 4x.
People might not want to hear this, but this is my opinion, so take it for what it's worth. Vehicle prices are substantially lower based on the inflation of almost everything else we buy. If you look at beef prices, cell phone prices, laptop prices, clothing, go build a home right now, get a driveway done, get paint, everything has went up in price more percentage-wise than automotive. I think why automotive gets hit so hard is because it's not eggs going from $2 to $4 where it's 100% increase. It's because trucks are $70, $80, $100,000. So people see that monster number. But percentage-wise, I think the automotive industry is under more pressure margin in a lot of cases than most of the other stuff. And I believe it. And I'm going to bring it right back to it. Look at shareholder prices. Ford, General Motors, Chrysler, none of them are great stocks to hold because they don't make a lot of margin. But you know what? Some of these oil companies right now are making record level profits. And so is some of these other companies right now in the retail space. And their prices are way outpacing the truck market for inflation. Another proof of point, in 2017, I went back and found my paperwork on this. In 2017, I bought an 802A, which was like a 35 package F-150 Raptor today. In 2017, I bought it brand new for $71,000. If I bought that truck brand new in 2026, that same truck today with more options in 2026 was about $79,000. So in 10 years, if you take that 10 years and divide it by 8,000, it went up like 1.5% per year. That's a third of the rate of inflation. So
Yeah, well, Barry, too, we talk about things going up and manufacturers working on MSRPs going down. If you look at the Dodge Durango, have you seen what you can get a 5.7 Durango for, which
bargain.
is a 3-row SUV?
It's a bargain.
Pretty much everything loaded up in it. Yeah, it's an old school body, but y'all, that's a really nice vehicle. I mean, the 5.7s are in the 40s.
Yep.
I mean, they dropped the MSRP significantly. You can get a 392 in the 50s.
It's unreal.
Yeah,
that's a bargain.
An all-wheel drive 3-row car and they dropped those MSRP significantly from last year. And the Grand Wagoneer has done the same thing. So Jeep and Dodge have done pretty good at realizing their market. And I think that's the only two, unless y'all know more, that's the only two I can say that I've actually seen the MSRPs significantly reduce on the window sticker.
The other one I saw was the Bronco Raptor a few years ago. They had like a pretty big, like 10% drop. And if you guys remember, that's when the Bronco Raptor got smoked. You're seeing like $95,000 Bronco Raptor selling for like 65 grand or 68 grand.
Yep.
But once they sold out all that inventory, what have Bronco Raptor prices done? Up, up, up. They're still going up. But I'm glad we got together, guys. This is good. A lot of good topics. I'm going to say this again. If you're on the fence of buying a new truck or a used truck or SUV, this might be the best time that I've seen in a long time with the discounts available right now. Some of these used truck deals are incredible. And if you're thinking about trading a vehicle in, man, do your homework like Jason just did, because you could get smacked hard by someone trying to take advantage of you. Sell it outright if you can. That's always the best case. But if you can't, do your homework, check it, and take advantage of this dip, because I don't think we'll see these discounts stay forever.
Yep, agreed. Thanks all. Appreciate it.
Guys,
Any other comments?
That's it.
It was
Cool.
fun. I enjoyed it. It was a good talk.
Yep.
For sure. Appreciate it, guys. I hope everybody enjoys it. Chat will go still live after, so this will be, if you miss it, you can watch it after the fact.
Perfect. Thanks again.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Barry.
See you.
later.